We're just so glad you've chosen to worship with us today. We're continuing our sermon series, When the Storms Don't Stop. Again, if you missed last week, you can go to our website and check that out. We're also still doing Wednesday night, correct?
Yes, we are doing Wednesday evenings, our prayer session. We've been doing it a couple of Wednesday evenings. This week was incredible. Pastor Linda Mendez led us out, and it is a perfect time with the sermon series, The Storms of Life, to come and pray over your life, over the community, over the world, over our church. So come on out Wednesdays from 5 to 6. I know it's a little bit early, but maybe your boss will let you off early.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Also want to give you a heads up. Maybe you noticed there was a little station out in the courtyard. The Pathfinders and UReach have partnered. They're collecting jackets for the next 3 weeks, starting today. You can bring a used one in good condition or a new one, but this is going to be for the unhoused population in our community.
November the 22nd at 4:30 is our annual organ dedication concert by our very own Chemo Smith. We love you, Chemo. Again, it starts at 4:30. It is the 47th dedication of the organ.
And then another tradition is the following week on the 29th. The Heritage Singers are coming, and they'll also be here in the sanctuary at 4:30.
We start our Christmas series actually on November the 29th. It'll take us through December the 20th. The Christmas series this year is titled The Cradle and the Cross. And it begins, the true story of Christmas begins in the cradle, and the true Christmas tree is the cross. I love that phrase. Pastor Randy is always so good with his messages during the Christmas season, helping us take a story that we hear so many times and putting a new twist on it. So that will begin November the 29th, go through December the 20th. We hope that you will be a part of our worship to hear these incredible messages during Christmas.
Also during Christmas on December 6th, just want to give you a heads up. Our children's choir is going to do a musical during Sabbath School time. Note the time at 10:30. That's on December 6th, and it's entitled The Best Present of All. And we'll be telling more about it in coming weeks, but just wanted to have you put that on your calendar, December 6th at 10:30.
The holidays seasons are always so challenging for those of us who are grieving, who have lost loved ones. And You Care Ministry is always putting things together to help us through. They have something that they are doing for the very first time this December the 7th. It is called Winter's Grace in Your Blue Christmas. This is going to be a special program in the evening for you to come, and instead of dreading the holidays, this is a time to bring you hope and for you to experience something really special. You will need to register for this, and registration will end December the 3rd. And again, the program is December the 7th, begins at 5 and goes until 6:30. Remember, you do need to register by December the 3rd. The program is December the 7th.
And another just heads up, want to make sure you put on your calendar our annual Christmas concert, which will be at 5 p.m. right here in the sanctuary. It's entitled Hope is Born. That's December 13th. And it's always a wonderful concert. We want to have you put it on your calendar, and we'll be sharing more with you in coming weeks. Also, for those that you want to support the music ministry of this church with the annual season's greetings, you can still do that. The deadline for that will also be December 13. Well, that's our announcements for today. For the latest information, go to our website, LLUC.org.
We love you guys. You are prayed for, you are valuable, and we hope that this Sabbath day is a true blessing for you and your family. Happy Sabbath.
Sons and daughters, children of the living God, happy Sabbath. I had a bit of a sweat when I was preaching in the other service because we had no sound system. So I had to yell for half an hour. I am glad for this moment to have a headset on. When I watched Top Gun 2, I nearly cried. A beautiful moment when he steals that jet. But how many of you know the real story upon which that is based? 1989, Alexander Yuzev. He is a pilot in Russia, flies a MiG-29. It is during the Cold War. He is tired of the oppression that he is in. So he makes a plan to steal his own plane. To do this successfully, first of all, he tells all of his comrades there at the base that his wife is pregnant. He invites them to a party. He cooks them a cake with strawberries and cream, and in that cake, he places a lot of sedatives. They eat, they all fall asleep. On this base, there are 2 people who are left. He has cut the telephone wires so nobody can call out. He goes to the first individual stationed further down. He says, listen, the other team, they're late. I don't know where they are. I'll take your shift. That other person walks off, finishes his shift, goes to bed. Then he goes to the plane. There is 1 person left there. There, that person has found the other sedated people, and he's worked out what's about to happen. So Alexander says, listen, I am taking this plane. An almighty fight breaks out. Alexander was a champion wrestler in high school. The fight goes on. He wins the fight. Injures his arm in the process. Hops into his plane, starting it as quickly as he can. I hope you've all learnt how to start an F-16 from TikTok. He starts his own plane. He had intended to remove the block on the guns so he could take the other planes out behind him. He didn't have time. He was under a tarpaulin. He didn't have time to clear that. He takes off. Strands of the tarpaulin attached to the back of his jet. He flies at a low level beneath the radar, out over the Black Sea. As he comes to Turkey, he lifts to cruising altitude, calls in the tower, hello, got a MiG-29, I'd like to land. The tower says no. He says, well, got a fighter jet, I'm going to land. And he lands. When he steps out of his plane onto the wing, his words, finally, I, an American. He wanted freedom. He wanted to be the person that he knew himself to be. He was tired of the oppression. He was tired of being bound, and so he made his way out. 2,000 years before Alexander's story, there is a man standing on the Gerasene shore. He is a man possessed. He is standing there. He has the shackles upon him. We are told he was shackled, and we are told that he had chains attached to him. He had broken the chains. The shackles are still there. He lives by himself amongst the tombs. He has been excluded from society. He is strong, he is powerful, but he is also scared. Because as he stands there on the shores of the Lake of Galilee, he looks out across the shore and there is a small boat making its way towards him. In that boat is the presence of God. It is Jesus and the disciples. This man is possessed, though, and the devil will not cede territory. When Jesus walked the earth, all the powers of hell were let loose. And so a storm comes up, rolls over from the mountains behind him and goes across the lake. This is no ordinary storm. This is no normal act of nature. We know this because when Jesus, as Randy taught us about last week, when he quiets the storm, he rebukes the storm. And the language that he uses there is the language that Jesus uses when he is casting out demons. He says to this storm, be still. And so the thunder, the lightning, the very forces of darkness go to try and protect their territory. And this man stands there chained, dripping in rain. And as he looks across the sea, the storm suddenly collapses. The lightning stops. And he sees on that still water a little boat still coming towards him. The disciples rowing, Jesus standing there. The power of God coming to meet this man. As the boat comes to the shore, immediately, Jesus steps off, doesn't lose pace with the boat, steps off in time. It's beautiful. The disciples are terrified. This man is terrified, and there Jesus encounters someone who has lost themselves. It's a heartbreaking thing in this world. It is possible to lose yourself. It truly is. And it's easy to do. Soren Kierkegaard, a beautiful thinker, he says the greatest tragedy of humankind, of mankind, is that when somebody loses themselves, it happens slowly. It doesn't happen all at once, it happens bit by bit. I want to thank my Pathfinder teacher from back when I was in Friends for terrifying me. Back in Australia, Brisbane, we're gathered, it's a Sabbath afternoon. And she chose an illustration that day that has stuck with me. I forgot everything else she taught, but this one got me. Little kid. She said, listen, I need the strongest person in the class. Wasn't me. That's why I go to the gym to this day. Nathaniel Lamb steps up. Dude was strong. And he stepped up, and she had some string, and she wrapped it around Nathaniel Lamb's arms, and he said, can you break out of it? He could. And then she said, can I have your arms again? And she wrapped it around more and more. Can you break out? This time it was harder. He got out though, but then the third time she wrapped it around more and more and more and more. And Nathaniel Lamb up the front there was stuck. And we're all terrified because he's so strong. Her teaching was this: in this life there are things, there are substances, there are addictions, there are behaviors that can take control of you, that can take your freedom, that can take you from yourself. And she terrified me, but it was a good terror. She finished the teaching by saying this: little children, in as much as you can, if it is possible, please, my best advice on sin is this: don't start. Don't start. And she's right. There are so many addictions in this world that bind us with that string. Alcohol. One drink's not enough. You can't get through the day without it, and you feel the string get tighter and tighter on your arms. Gambling. Just one more. I will be the lucky one. Just one more. And then pretty soon you can't take food home to your family because you're paying the casino. There are things, and maybe your experience isn't that dramatic. Maybe it's just meanness. Maybe you've just developed this meanness towards your family, and you don't mean to, but each time you do it, it repeats the behavior and the string gets tighter and tighter. Or maybe it's just something just like sadness. Like it's not your fault, it's not what you want, but you just feel it kind of burying into your soul, and you feel like you're losing yourself to a sense of sadness. Or work. Maybe you are stuck building somebody else's pyramid. Maybe you're giving somebody else the best hours, the best time, the best energy of your life, and they are extracting everything that they can from you, and you do not have enough for your family, for your life, and you find yourself feeling stuck. What do you do when you find yourself feeling bound? This man, bound. Jesus comes. Jesus, Son of the Most High God, what is it that you want with us? The demons are speaking correctly here. They identify Jesus as the Son of the Most High God. They are not in error, and they recognize in this moment that everyone else who had tried to free this man has failed, but now in the presence of Jesus, they have met their match. And so they say, please do not torment us. Church, if you are struggling and feeling bound, perhaps first you might need a most high God. Carl Jung, fascinating thinker. A man who actually had a vision preceding World War I of what would occur during World War I. It's documented, we can read it. He has this vision of his nation, Sweden, being protected by the mountains, but bloodshed occurring across Europe. A voice speaks to him and says, "This is coming, it cannot be stopped." But the father that we know of as the one who began psychoanalytical theory, he was a man, the son of a pastor, but possessed by this idea that there is a higher power in this world. And as he was treating the patients who came to him with addiction, he was amongst the first to say, listen, to help people truly be free, they need a higher power in their life. A few years later, the Oxford Group, a group of scholars and intellectuals and Christians at Oxford, took his teachings and combined them with other wisdom that they had and created the 12-step program. And to this day, and this is what I find so beautiful, across this country and across this world, there are still humble, broken, and beautiful people who come into church basements. And when they come into those church basements, all the forces and the powers of hell are trying to keep them from standing up in that moment. But a miracle occurs when somebody steps into that basement and says, I'm stuck. I can't do it any longer under my authority. I have no more power. I am bound, but I need a power above me to set me free. It's a miracle. So I don't know where you're feeling bound or stuck, but first of all, church, you may need a higher power. You may need the Most High God. Who are you, Jesus says? We are legion. We are many. But please do not send us into the abyss. Permit us to go into the pigs. And Jesus sends them into the pigs. At which point the pigs run down the hill off the edge and perish. It's a strange detail in the story. But what I think it represents to us is the intention of the community of demons for this man's life. That was what they wanted to do. Community is a powerful thing, and it can be used for good or for ill. And this man in this community, he was experiencing a community that was only interested in his destruction and his expiration. Second prophetic character from the 1800s, Dostoevsky. Has anybody read The Russian Genius? The man's mind is brilliant. The reason why he is so famous is for this book, Demons. In the epigraph of this book, he has this chapter we're preaching from, Luke chapter 8. But what is so incredible about this work is that Dostoevsky, in a narrative form, prophetically predicts what is going to occur in the Russian population 40, 50 years before it does. He takes these characters and he writes philosophical ideas into their existence, and he paints this picture, and he shows this picture where it ends in destruction and death. He says, listen, there are these ideas coming to us, the Russian people. They're coming from Europe, and I understand why they are coming. We have had centuries of religious violence, but there are these ideas that are coming to us that are going to be worse in their application. He says this moral utilitarianism based in this nihilism is going to kill many people, and he was right. He got it spot on with an accuracy that is shocking. But the reason why he begins his book with this passage is because he is simply saying this: listen, in community, it is very possible for us to be taken advantage of by other forces, and it is easy to get swept up in a community that is running you off a cliff. And unless you pay careful attention to the community that you're in, you too could be like the pigs running off the cliff. Let me break it down in a simple way for you all. Imagine you're a gambler. You have a gambling addiction. Let me tell you, the casino is not the community for you, okay? The casino does not have your interest at heart. They are trying to exploit you and run you off the cliff. As I said, I have sat beside one of my friends 11, 12 times, just one more time, and then I'll be the lucky one. One more time, and the wealth of this entire casino, it's going to come to me. And he couldn't stop. And in that casino, we could not see outside because they have no windows. And in that casino, we could not see the time passing because there is not a single visible clock. And in that casino, they continued to bring him free drinks so that his reason and his faculty will be decreased. The casino did not have his interest at heart. Even worse, this casino that had that slogan, gamble responsibly. Casinos have worked out that when they say that, people gamble more. You know that, right? Because what it does is it says to the person who is gambling, listen, we've got a contract. It's okay. You be responsible. I'll be responsible. We can keep doing this. They don't say that to stop them gambling, but it comes with this presentation that we're caring for you. They are not. Let me be clear. I think I'm being clear. If you have a gambling addiction, the casino will run you off the edge of the cliff. It will use you for its economic advantage. If you find yourself in that situation, you need to find a different community. You need to find a community full of the people that are the people that you want to be. You need to find a community that is going in the right direction. You need to find a community that will sweep you along to be the person that you want to be. If you're struggling with self-righteousness, find a community of people who stand up every meeting and begin by saying, "Hi, my name is Chris and I'm an alcoholic." If you're struggling with forgiveness of yourself, come to a community that every week sings songs about a gracious God who rose across a lake to find a man possessed and stuck. If you're struggling with your family unit, find a community that supports your family unit. Find a community that helps you be the person that you want to be. I had dinner with the cross-country team from the high school on Thursday night here in this building. I helped coach them. As we were having dinner at the end of the season, I had to step out early. I said, apologies, I've got to go write this sermon. And the kids, they were so sweet. They're like, Chris, can you write us into the sermon? Okay, this is me doing that now. What I love about our little cross-country team is at the beginning of the season, we all come together, but the community hasn't really formed. Like you have kids come and for the first practice, they kind of just sit on the side. Other kids come and they just kind of walk. Other kids, like, they skip practice. And some kids jog slowly, and one kid runs out the front like he's a hero. And it's cute, it's fantastic, I love it. But what happens is as the season goes on, the power and the weight of community draws everyone together like electrons coming to the center of an atom, and together we become better runners than we could ever be by ourselves. If you are bound in this life, you need a most high God. If you are bound in your life, find a community that's heading in the direction that you want. And then this man, having had the demons cast out of him, comes and sits at the feet of Jesus. And I love the detail in the text. I didn't tell you at the beginning. He's naked. He's standing there naked. And then the story ends, and it's very clear to say, now he's dressed. What this tells me is this. If you are bound in your life, sometimes you just need new habits. And they don't have to be big habits, okay? But just start with what you can do. This man had a lot more to learn about following Jesus. He did. This wasn't the end of his journey, but he knew he could at least put his clothes on and sit at the feet of Jesus. If you are bound in this life, choose new habits and take small steps. You don't have to finish the journey at once, but find a small habit that you can put in place and begin practicing it. In your commute to work, if you want to pray more, pick a traffic light 1 minute from work, okay? And when you get to that traffic light, turn off your radio and pray for that last minute. Just do that. And then probably pretty soon you'll find yourself turning off your radio earlier, and maybe your prayer life will increase and improve. You want to join the cross-country team? Just put on your running shoes when you go to check the mail, okay? And you might just run a little bit further down the road when you check your mail and come back, okay? Find a small step in the direction of grace. Put some grace-filled, some Jesus habits into your life and see them grow. Why do I tell you this? Because elsewhere, when Jesus encounters a demon and casts it out, he finishes by saying to his disciples, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you too can do this. Small actions, small habits become powerful in the kingdom of God. And so this man sits there clothed. And then I love the way the text finishes. It says, listen, he was in his right mind. It's just beautiful. Have you had those moments in this life where you feel most like yourself? Have you had those moments in your life where you feel the way in which you feel like you should feel? Those moments where you don't feel bound or stuck, but you feel free in and of yourself. That's what Jesus returns this man to. I apologize for being nostalgic, but when I look back across my life, when I was young, Dad, Chester, he's mown the lawn and washed the cars. It's Sabbath Friday afternoon. Mum's cooked the bread and she's made the soup. The house is clean. My younger brother, he's a little kid. He's got this incredible giggle. My older sister doesn't want to be home, but she's also kind of glad that she is. And we light the candles and we open Sabbath together. And the light, it's perfect. The complexity of life, adulthood, it's safe. And you feel like you're meant to feel. You feel free. You feel like life is good. All those moments with my family, they're so simple. I chuck them in the car and we go out to Joshua Tree and we scramble around the rocks and the kids are fascinated by creation and we watch the sun go down and it's just good. You feel free. You feel like yourself. That is God's desire for you. And so he sits at his feet in his right mind. And then he asks Jesus, can I go with you? And Jesus says, no. It's quite funny. It's like me leaving church and like, hey, Chris, can we ride home with you? I'm like, no, I'm going. But Jesus leaves him with these words. You need to go and tell others what I have done for you. You are in this life where you are bound, but you have found a higher power. You are in this life where you were bound, but you now have a new community. You were in this life where your habits were different, but now you have new habits. You are free and in your right mind, so now go and tell others what I have done for you. You are now free to be who you wanted to be. Why is that so important? Because when the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed.
Hello, good friends. So good to be with all of you again. I've got some more happy birthdays and anniversaries. Number 1 this week, Miles James Olton, Woodinville, Washington, birthday number 4. Happy birthday, Miles James, and so good to see you there with Grandpa and your sisters. Dorothea and Norval Jones, Maricopa, Arizona, and they both mark their 83rd birthdays about the same time. Congratulations, you two. And there with daughter and son. Mumtaz, Sister Taj Khan, Colton, California, part of the Loma University Church family. Happy birthday, sister. And there you are with dear husband, Brother Bud. I've called him for years. Barbara Hafner, Happy Valley, Oregon. Hello, Barbara. Happy birthday. And glad to see you in this picture with late husband, my classmate Cliff, and then your daughter Cheryl and sons Carl, Paul, and Randy with Grandpa's blue Ford. What a great story. David Jukes, Everson, Washington. Hello, David. Happy birthday. And so glad to see you there with son Jeremy, and then with adoptive daughter Randall. Bernie Anderson, Apopka, Florida. Hello, Bernie. Happy birthday, man, there with wife Christina, and then with daughter Madison, who is now a Southwest Airlines flight attendant. Paul Galvez, Redlands, California. Hello, Paul. Happy birthday, man, and so good to see you there with dear Aaron, and then with your parents. Peggy Taggart, Medford, Oregon. Hello, Peggy. Happy birthday. And the best to you with dear husband Dick, and then with your family. Nellie and David Stone, Redlands, California, are marking their 71st anniversary. There you were, and wow, 71 years ago, and here you are. We love you too. Carol Howerton, Maricopa, Arizona. Hello, Carol. I'm wishing you a very happy birthday, but my heart, my prayers go out to you because you've recently lost dear Dennis. Denise Altman McGee, Redlands, California. Hello, Denise. Happy birthday. Good to see you with Brother John, and then you folks with your girls. Wendy and Jay Razuk, Loma Linda, California. 11th anniversary already? Congratulations, you two. That happy day. Yes, I was there. And wow, indeed, more happy days. And we thank you for the witness of who you are. Brett Walls, Loma Linda. 53rd birthday, Brett. Congratulations, man. And there with my good friend, your dad, Art. And then this wonderful collection of photos with wife, Catherine. Marilyn Thompson, Colton, California. Hello, Marilyn. Here to wish you a very happy birthday. This picture I read is when you were in front of Mount Ararat. And here you are with husband Calvin and your daughter Julie at her law school graduation from Harvard. Ardis Hawkins, Bend, Oregon. Ardis is 97 years old, and I'm so glad to be in touch. She's my cousin. Happy birthday, Ardis. Chris Evans, Burleson, Texas. Hello, brother Chris. Happy birthday, man, and good to see you there with wife Kitty. Amy Perrin, Phoenix, Arizona. Happy birthday to you, Amy, and so good to see you with Keith and then with your girls. Terry Pooler, Orlando, Florida. Hello, Terry. All the best to you for your birthday, and there with wife Helene. Mary Mosienko, Minot, North Dakota. And we have good memories, Mary. Happy birthday, lady. And the same for you, Cheryl Butheris, Lincoln, Nebraska, there with a couple of friends. Don Bally, Las Vegas, Nevada. Always good to be reminded of you folks, and wish you a very wonderful birthday, Don. And David Griffith, Caldwell, Idaho. Missed your birthday a little earlier, David, and I can't resist sending you a very warm greeting, and there with wife Shar. Villa family birthdays. Hannah Lim. Congratulations, Hannah. You too, Eloise Mattison. So glad you're a part of the Villa family. And Joanna Meow Happy birthday to you, dear. Yes, this is one more week, and I look forward to the next time.